Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. Consider the following statements. India has 5 tiger landscapes. Tramka is a software-based monitoring system launched by National Tiger Conservation Authority. Tadoba Andheri Tiger Reserve is in the state of Maharashtra. Which of the above statements is correct? The answer to this is 1 and 3 only. Why? That is because when you look into the first statement, yes, India has 5 tiger landscapes. Which are these 5 landscapes? It includes Shivalik Hills and Gangetic Plains, Central Indian Landscape and Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats, Northeast Hills and Brahmaputra Plains, and finally, what we have is Sundarbans. What are the advantages of this landscape? Whenever you consider the movement of the tigers, they generally move from one state to another. So whenever there is population census of the tiger is conducted, usually the conservationists believe that we would be able to get much better numbers and right statistics of the tiger on the basis of these landscapes. That is why in India we have 5 landscapes as we have just discussed. So the first option is correct. Now when we look into the second statement, Tramka is not a software based monitoring system. Instead, it happens to be a joint initiative between India and Bhutan for what? Biodiversity conservation. As we can see from this particular image, this border areas is where India and Bhutan coordinate, because as animals move from one part to another, what we require is the coordination protocols. So the coordination protocols promoting the landscape level ecosystem management is what is called as Tramka. But the software that has been designed by the National Tiger Conservation happens to be M-Stripes. What is this M-Stripes? This is nothing but monitoring system for tigers, intensive patrolling and ecological status. So the software that was launched by National Tiger Conservation Authority happens to be M-Stripes, and Tramka happens to be a transboundary biodiversity conservation program. Now when you look into the third statement, yes, Tadoba Andheri Tiger Reserve is in the state of Maharashtra. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in this article. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which one among the following statements is incorrect about Burkina Faso? It is a landlocked country in West Africa. It is part of Africa's semi-arid Sahel region. Equator passes through Burkina Faso. The major ethno-linguistic group of Burkina Faso is the Fosi. Which of the statements in this particular question happens to be incorrect? Since it is asking for the incorrect statement, the answer to this is C. Why? Because Equator does not pass through Burkina Faso. When you look into this particular statement, yes, it is a landlocked country. It is part of Africa's semi-arid Sahel region, and the major ethnic group happens to be Mosi. But then when you look into the equator, it does not pass through Burkina Faso. So kindly remember, we have Indonesia, Somalia, Kenya, Uganda, Gabon, Democratic Republic of Congo, Brazil, Colombia and Ecuador, through which equator passes through. As part of assignment, what you have to do is to figure out which are the countries where Tropic of Cancer passes through, which are the countries where Tropic of Capricorn passes through, and also remember we have Tropic of Cancer passing through India as well. Do put on the comment section which are the states where Tropic of Cancer passes. So kindly remember, Burkina Faso is a landlocked region. It is surrounded by Mali, Niger, Benin, Togo, Ghana, Ivory Coast. It is this that we have to understand from this practice question. Now let's look into the next practice question. Biomedical waste are divided into 4 color categories. Which of the following are correctly matched? Yellow, human anatomical waste and animal anatomical waste. Orange, contaminated plastic bag and bottles. White, scalpels, blades and needles. Blue, broken glassware or metallic body implant. Which of these categories of colors are correctly matched? The answer to this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference given in this article. So when you look into the biomedical rules as given under 2016, this has been compartmentalized into 4 different categories. What are those? One is yellow, second is orange, third is white, and fourth is blue. What exactly is this biomedical waste? Whenever you go to a laboratory or you go to a hospital, what you actually see is that there is waste that is collected. Let's say it can be in the form of bandages, or it can be in the form of syringes that are used as well. These waste that is collected in the hospital and laboratories will have to be segregated into different compartments. For example, you have what is called as a yellow bin, where human and animal anatomical waste would be collected. Expired medicines, chemical waste, and bloody fluids, all these will have to be collected and should be dumped in the yellow container or the yellow box. Then we have the orange container, where the contaminated plastic bag, bottles, pipes, or containers will be put up in the orange cap. Then we have the white bin, where the scalpels, blades, needles, syringes, sharp metal items are put. And finally, what we have is the blue bin, where broken glassware or metallic body implants will be added. Why is this important? That is because whenever we are segregating it and collecting it, we can scientifically dispose all these waste as well. Apart from this, it also minimizes the adverse impact on the healthcare workers and also on the environment, which is why the government in the 2016 rules has come up with such a segregation plan. Now, when we look into this article, it says over 2 lakh kilograms of biomedical waste was generated each day by hospitals in India dealing with COVID-19 patients. And this was given in the State of India's Environment 2021 report released by the Center for Scientific Environment. So what this article currently goes on to speak is about segregation and making sure that there is scientific disposal of all these waste that is collected in the hospitals. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following statements are correct? H1N3 is a rare strain of virus that normally infects poultry. H5N1 is the most common virus causing bird flu or avian influenza. Though largely restricted to birds, it can cross over to other animals but not to human beings. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is one only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in the Hindu article. Now, when we look into the H1N3, this does not spread from one human to another. According to the initial analysis as given by the Beijing's National Health Commission, it has gone on to say that this has low pathogenic conditions, which means to say it does not spread from one human to another and is unlikely to spread rapidly. Initially as well, when COVID-19 started in China, they did say that COVID-19 does not spread from one human to another, which is why the World Health Organization in the present situation is having a vigilant eye on this particular virus as well. Now, when you look into the statistics, it clearly goes on to say that it is constantly present and is a new strain of virus that normally infects the poultry section. Now, when we look into the other set of viruses, H5N1 happens to be the most common virus causing bird flu. It not only infects the birds, it also infects the animals, and it can also spread to the human beings as well. Now, when you look into the second option, it says it does not spread to the human beings, but yes, it does spread to the human beings, which is why second option is wrong. Further, the article goes on to say what are the typical symptoms of avian influenza infection. It basically includes mild upper respiratory tract infection, early sputum production and rapid progression to severe pneumonia, sepsis with shock, acute respiratory distress syndrome, and even death. In some of the situations, conjunctivitis, gastrointestinal symptoms, encephalitis, encephalopathy have also reported in varying degrees depending on the subtype. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following can be said to be essentially the parts of inclusive governance? Permitting the non-banking financial companies to do banking, establishing effective district planning committees in all the districts, increasing the government spending on public health, strengthening the midday meal scheme. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. The answer to this is 2, 3 and 4. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2012. When you look into this practice question, what is inclusive governance? Basically, there are certain sections of the people who would not be part of the developmental process. Let's say, for example, the poor people, or let's say, for example, women in general. These are generally not taken into the picture for inclusive governance. So, making them part of the governance paradigm, the governance model is what is called as inclusive governance. So bringing people together under the cloud and the umbrella of governance where all the schemes and mechanisms ultimately reach every person for whom that particular scheme is designed is what is called as inclusive governance. So the inclusive governance takes into picture every sections of the society. It can be the women, it can be the children, it can be the poor people, it can be all those people who do not have much better economic prosperity. So when you look into the options given here, strengthening the midday meal scheme, yes, it does bring into the picture of inclusive governance. Increasing the government spending on public health, yes, people who do not have options of entering the private domain, now since the government has come up with upgrading the public health, they are part of the inclusive government. And similarly, establishing effective district planning committees in all the states will make sure that there is bottom up approach and ultimately people are part of the inclusive governance. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is Bose-Einstein condensate. Generally, as we all know, there are three states of matter that we see in our daily lives. One, it happens to be solid. Second, liquid. And third happens to be the gaseous state. When we look at the particles in solid, they are tightly packed as shown in the picture. They also have a regular arrangement as well. When it comes to the liquid, liquids are close together. They do not have regular arrangement, but when it comes to gases, they are well separated as shown in the picture, and again they do not have a regular arrangement. So these are some of the states of matter that we see in our day-to-day lives. But there is a fourth state of matter called as plasma. So plasma happens to be the fourth state of matter, and some of the examples include lightning. It is also seen in stars, nebulas, in fact the auroras that are formed in the north and the southern poles as well. And the fifth state of matter that we have is what is called as Bose-Einstein condensation. Why is it called so? That is because this was initially proposed by Indian mathematician Satyendranath Bose. It was eventually studied by Albert Einstein, and after that Professor Albert Einstein and Indian mathematician Satyendranath Bose proved that there is a fifth state of matter called as the Bose-Einstein condensation. This particular theory was in existence for large number of years, but this requires experiments, and that experiment was conducted in the year 1995. So prior to that, it was in existence for large number of years, but the scientific experiment to prove that there is a fifth state of matter came up ultimately in the year 1995. Now the question is, what is this Bose-Einstein condensate? They are generally formed when atoms of certain elements are cooled to near absolute zero, which means they should be reduced to 0 degree Kelvin or to minus 273.15 degrees centigrade. If atoms are reduced and cooled down to such temperatures, what creates is called as the fifth matter or the Bose-Einstein condensate. But there are challenges on Earth when it comes to the experimentation. Why? Because whenever such experiments have to be conducted on Earth, they have to be reduced to 0 degree Kelvin, which is where the difficulties is. Why? Because when you consider the Earth's atmosphere, we are influenced by the gravitational force. So gravitational force does not allow this to happen on the Earth in most of the situations, which is why the atom collapses, and as a result we would not be able to bring a conclusive evidence to this particular experiment. As a result of this, it is the International Space Stations where the scientific community and the scientists explore the fifth state of matter. What is the significance of Bose-Einstein condensate? Scientists believe that it contains vital clues about the mysterious phenomena of dark energy, the unknown energy which is thought to be behind the universe accelerating expansion. So if we are able to understand the Bose-Einstein condensate, we would also get to a conclusion about the idea of universe accelerating expansion. To understand the nitty-gritties behind the universe accelerating expansion, understanding the Bose-Einstein condensate becomes very important. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.